Hi there. Have you ever heard of probate? Right here. So, probate is a legal process that happens after someone dies and their assets need to be distributed to their loved ones. And it's a process through the court. And probate fee are like a tax that gets taken out of the estate before it get distributed. So, what assets are subject to probate and probate fees? Well, it includes things like your bank account and your property, like your house, any cabin, your cars, any securities. I mean, like a stocks and bond and mutual fund, and your jewelry and any business shares, and the fees are calculated based on the total value of these assets and at the time of death. So that can add it up quite a lot altogether. And the amount of the fees can vary depends on the province where you live and where are these assets are held. And for BC and Ontario, there is a percentage on the value of the assets, while in Alberta, it's a flat fee. So it really depends on where you live. And the good news is that there are many, like, no one wants to pay for the fees, right? Or it's just me. If you want to pay for fees, and then you don't need to watch further. And the good news I want to say is there are ways to minimize these probate fees, or like the assets go through that probate. And one way is to name a beneficiary, such as a spouse or your child, on things like RRSP, RIF, and the TFSA, and insurance policies. And this ensures that the money from these accounts going directly to the beneficiary, which will avoid going through the probate process and also avoid paying for the probate fee on top of the assets. So another way is to like jointly own a bank account and with a spouse or with your children. And so this means the assets will pass to the other surviving spouse or child that's outside of the probate directly, so that you also can gift these assets to family members before while you're still alive, just to make sure you keep in mind that this might trigger any tax liability if the assets has a like capital gain on top of it. Usually it's like a cabin or investment property. If you have business private like company shares, and setting up a multiple wills or trusts might be something you can do to minimize that assets subject to probate fees. It really depends on exactly what you have, and find the right professional to help you structure things to avoid all of these fees. So it is important for you to understand that these things, because you want to leave your legacy to your family, not the tax, right? And by planning ahead of time, it will really save you and your family lots of money and also lots of headache down the road in the long run. I hope this helps. This is a very general talk of probate process, and you need to find just read more on it and find some professionals to help you structure in a way that you intended. That's the most important. I'll see you next one. Bye.